Why is it okay for a family member to spank a kid, but it's not okay for the kid to spank a parent when they're bad? Why? I mean, kids look up to the parents most of the time. So if the parents are spanking them, then they think it's okay to spank. And I know people say, well, that's why people are spoiled these nowadays. No, that's not the real reason why people are spoiled nowadays, is because the parents didn't spank them. People are spoiled nowadays because parents don't want to parent their kids. They just want to buy them stuff or let them just be hooked up to the electronics instead of dealing with the issue at hand. And sometimes kids act bad because you're not paying enough attention. And if you spank your kid, you're not getting to the root of the problem. All you're doing is just spanking them to make yourself feel like you disciplined them. And think about it. If you spanked your kid and then they turned around and spanked you when you're bad, would you like to be spanked when you were bad or did something wrong? And time out. I still think even if you put the kid in timeout, you have to talk to them and you have to find the root of the problem. Because just putting them in timeout, or as I said, spanking them, you don't know what the problem is by doing that. You have to get to the root of the issue to help them realize the best action to take. And sometimes it could have nothing to do with you. Maybe they are having a hard time at school, or maybe they don't understand the consequences of their actions because all you did was you put them in timeout and spanked them, so maybe they don't know how to smooth themselves or to have coping skills because all you taught them was the coping skills was to go to timeout. And that's some of the problems, and some of the other problems is with teenagers is that parents don't put in the work when they're kids to have their trust in some ways. Because most likely if you deal with the problem when they're a child or younger, it's easier to deal with them when they are teenagers. And if you're always punishing them every time they tell you they did something wrong, then when they're teenagers, they're going to not want to tell you anything because they think they're always going to get in trouble. But I'm not a parent, so what do I know? All I'm saying is you have to get to the root of the problem, and spanking or putting them in timeout is not. And if you're not paying enough attention to your kid or teenager, that might be part of the problem too. And I don't believe that you should hand your kids everything. Make them work for it. Like by doing chores or something. And cleaning the room is not a chore. Like doing the dishes is a chore. And washing the table is a chore. A chore to me is when you help out the rest of the house, not a mess that you made. That's not a chore. It's a chore is something that everybody uses, like the bathrooms. And then you also teach your kids about handling money when you give them money for chores and how to save money. Because if you just hand them everything in life, then they're going to think they're entitled to everything just because they're your kid. And that's another thing is if you don't get to the root of the problem, then they're just going to keep acting worse until you get to the root of the problem. That's what I've got to say about that. Is if you have a teenager or a kid or even an adult with a disability, you have to get to the root of the problem. Just punishing them does not get to the root of the problem. There's a reason people do the things they do.